What is going on, everybody? Thank you for tuning into another edition of On the Road to Victory. Third time's a charm, apparently, today. Got a couple videos out. We talked about Kelsey returning for another season. Love to see it. Talked about Calvin Ridley possibly coming to the Eagles before placing those parlays. So, yeah, fantastic. But talked about that, all kinds of great stuff. But back again, like we talked about earlier, and now we're on to the defense, baby. We are continuing the free agent and trade target series. And look, we talked about all the offense, all the special teams, the kickers, punters, long snappers, return specialists, everybody. We've talked about it all. So go back, check it out from everything, wide receivers, tight ends, quarterback, running back. And it's also, a chance for us to talk about, what we have at the position at the time, who the free agents are, all that great stuff. So you get to know the team. You get to know where the needs are. And if, I feel or what you guys feel, it's a way to converse here about what we should do, whether it's in free agency or whether we should focus on the draft. And, we've talked about the draft since last season that, we're going to have all these picks. We had 11 at the time. Now it's 10 right now. And it's like, look, we have 10 picks, 3 of those first rounders. It's time to improve this team, get younger, keep retooling this bad boy in the right direction, build the foundation. And look, if Jalen Hurts pans out, that's fantastic. If he doesn't, then you focus with all the money and all of the picks you have the next year. But right now, it's time to build this team up. We are trying to build a contender. And one of the things we stress all the damn time is getting to the quarterback. So tonight, the focus is on edge rushers. And we are not going to go on the inside. That will be tomorrow. We're going to talk about the defensive line. And with this hybrid scheme that Jonathan Gannon has been running, we talk about the differences between a defensive end, outside linebacker. Well, essentially kind of the same thing in this defense. So we're going to talk about what they're actually, they might be listed on the roster as something, but we're going to talk about what their role is on this team. So we're going to get to know those guys, and then we're going to get to see who the free agents are with a couple of trade targets like we did with every position. So if you missed any of the offense or special teams, go check those out. But tonight, it's edge rusher time. So let's get into this. And I did break it down. I cut them up. So if these guys come from 3-4 defense, they're going to be listed as an outside linebacker. If they come from a 4-3, it's going to be defensive end. So got them separated. Going to talk about what their role could be for the Eagles. But let me know your thoughts down below. Appreciate you guys taking the time. Got this in, man. It's right at midnight. Wild times. Third video tonight. But I truly appreciate the hell out of you guys. But hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel. And make sure you hit that notification bell so you know when we're going live talking some birds. But let's first and foremost take a look at what the Eagles have at the defensive end, outside linebacker, edge rusher position. So we know that Josh Sweat coming into his own here. We're trying to really hope this dude in his 5th year really comes out. And look, he got his contract. We're all excited for him. Really love this kid. Hoping that things go well for him next year. But beyond that, Brandon Graham, we all know how devastating that was to lose him, and Brandon Graham is the man on and off the field. So if he can come back with that hybrid scheme, he was playing inside. So he's somebody that can play the edge rusher position. He did it originally with Billy Davis. If you guys remember, we moved him outside linebacker, but that's not somebody I truly consider an edge rusher here. He's more inside now, but he's getting to the quarterback. He is rushing. It's just what his role is. Regardless, he plays on the defensive line. He is used when we play 4-3 outside. We just didn't use it as much. When you lose Barnett and Kerrigan sucks, that's kind of what happens. You go beyond that. Kerrigan was great as an outside linebacker when he was younger. Not so great now. Try to use him inside. He just didn't get the job done. Don't think he will be back. See you later. Gennard Avery. I wouldn't mind bringing him back, using him in that Sam linebacker position that we did. Him getting to the quarterback. He had 1 sack last year, but I thought he did pretty well actually getting to the quarterback, his pressures, quarterback hits, all that great stuff. I think he did well, but I would definitely improve this position in the draft. We've talked about this over and over again. You got to use one of those first rounders on an edge rusher. And, someone said something earlier in the season like, oh, why would, Howie's the kind of person that would draft an edge rusher in this draft. It's like, well, we better draft an edge rusher. And we ended up at the end of the season, I think it was 31st in the league with like 29 sacks. That's terrible. That's really terrible. So behind the Lions, not good. We need an improvement there. And Patrick Johnson, Teron Jackson, 2 different kind of role players. Patrick Johnson kind of backed up Gennard Avery at that Sam linebacker position. You had Teron Jackson there, defensive end, moving around, had him standing up in the dirt. Like I said, we have a hybrid scheme. We know that. Cameron Malveaux at the end of the year got some snaps, got to play. Matt Leo's on that international player program. So these guys are going to compete this offseason, but we got to hope that we add some talent, and I think you need to do it not only in the draft, but in this free agency. And ladies and gentlemen, let me be real with you. This is loaded right here. You're about to get a load of content, and I would be really excited to get one of these guys, two of these guys, and then get somebody in the draft. I think that this team with an edge rush, you can do plenty of things. We all saw that in the Super Bowl. That's how we won the Super Bowl. Get to the quarterback. Get to the quarterback. So let's get into it. First and foremost, let's look at our guy. We've got Josh Sweat here. And Josh Sweat, man, he just signed that extension, and he's got some dummy years on the end. He's got an out next year. It's got all these little complications to it, but technically 6 years left on it. Next year, he only cost us 3.628 on a cap hit there. So for somebody that should step it up, I love it. 24 years old, coming into his 5th year. We talked about 6'5", 265, a beast. Started 13 games last year and had 7.5 sacks, man. You love to see that. 13 quarterback hits, 7 tackles for a loss, 4 pass deflections. So got out there, did some things, but you would love to see a lot more. We talked about it. I think, getting a couple guys would do him well. I don't think, he needs to be out there as much as he had to be because of Derek Barnett, all the other things that happened. Once again, they didn't play the exact same position because we talked about Milton Williams really filling that void that Derek Barnett left. Or I'm sorry, Brandon Graham, Jesus. Now, Derek Barnett, I don't think will be back. We've talked about that over and over again. So, yeah, it's time to move on, time to figure things out, but that won't happen until after June 1st. We talked about the complications there with his whatever. But Josh Sweat, get more reps, you would think, with Derek Barnett out, but I think he kind of just keep that same role and add some bigger talent. Now, let's get into this, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to start it off. We're going to talk about my favorite picks, some of the guys that I would love to see the Eagles try to nab. And after that, then I'm going to give you the entire list of all the guys that are available. So let me know how you feel about the guys we're talking about. Let me know about guys maybe you've heard about, that you know about, you want. And then when we get to the list, maybe some names you like, whatever your heart desires. Let me know how you're feeling tonight. But you're watching this tomorrow, maybe. Leave a little comment down below. We'll talk some birds. Now, let's get into this. I'm Beat Street McGee, tired as hell. Sixers caught an ass whooping. So it was a long day anyway, but not a great way to end it. But let's end it great right here with a little bit of edge rushing here. And this is my number one. Please, for the love of God, Howie Roseman, get us Hassan Reddick. Bring the New Jersey native from Temple. Bring him on home, ladies and gentlemen. I would love to have Hassan Reddick here. This dude would be the perfect hybrid scheme. That guy we've talked about, that Leo rusher. I mean, move him all over the place. Do whatever you want with him. 16 starts. He started every game he played last year. 68 tackles, 11 sacks, 12 tackles for a loss, 18 quarterback hits. You love to see it. 2 forced fumbles, one of those recovered. This dude, he's awesome, and he's only 27 years old. I'm sure that the Panthers would love to get him back, but, man, if you could convince this kid, look, man, we're really building something here. You're still a young man. We really need some help. This would be, oh, my God, this would be fantastic. I would truly love to have someone like Hassan Reddick. So you get a young player, still got a lot left in the tank. I would love to bring him in. Up next, a little bit older, but this dude is still wreaking havoc on the NFL, coming into his 11th season. Had 15 starts last year, 10.5 sacks, 12 tackles for a loss, 26 quarterback hits. Holy hell, 6 forced fumbles, 4 pass deflections. This guy is a monster. 6'5", 265. I mean, Chandler Jones still has it. Going to cost you a pretty penny still at that age. Doesn't matter. But maybe you can convince one of these guys to take a little bit of a cut, bring him in. Not sure that this would be the guy that would do that, but, man, having a premier edge rusher like Chandler Jones, a playmaker, that's how you win championships. I know a lot of people, you want to trade away all the cap space, all the picks, and get a quarterback. That's awesome, man. But having a great quarterback isn't everything. And right now, this team needs a lot. So we need to use that cap space and those draft picks wisely. So bring in some premier edge rushers, and that'll take you a long way. See what you have in Jalen Hurts this year. We'll find out. And if you need to go quarterback the next year, you do that. But this year, let's focus on everything else. We've got the money. We've got the picks. Let's use them wisely. Up next, Emmanuel Ogba. This dude, another young man coming into his 7th season, 28 years old, but 6'4", 275. Started 11 games last year, but played in all the games. 9 sacks, 9 tackles for a loss, 24 quarterback hits, 12 pass deflections. This dude's getting up there. Sorry about that. This dude's getting up there. And I think he would be awesome to have. And you never know with these guys. Sometimes they want to stay with the people that drafted them, or they want to go to a new home. Well, this young man, I think he would look perfect in a new home. Let's be real here. I think Ogba is somebody that obviously they've got a bunch of young men there, that Jalen Phillips, and they're going to do things that I think it's going to scare the football world. But this dude's already moved around, Cleveland got rid of him. And, I think he played for the Chiefs there or something, but he's now, played for the Dolphins a couple years. And with them going with the pass rush so much in this past year's draft, I really think that he's available and the Eagles should make a play at him. Up next, Charles Harris. And this dude, this would be nice. Another guy that's still fairly young, 27 years old. Now, obviously, none of these guys are going to be, 23 years old or anything like that. We're talking about some free agents who run up either the rookie contract, second, third, whatever the hell it is. Doesn't matter. But Charles Harris, my Lord, this dude, nobody wants to sit in Detroit and want to just jump off a building. Not sure why you would go there, but let's be real. The teams he played before that were the Falcons and Dolphins. So, yeah, I mean, it all kind of just sucks. Why don't you do yourself a favor, Charles Harris? Come on down to the Philadelphia Eagles and find yourself some success. It would be very wise of you. I'm going to be real with you. This dude, I think 7.5 sacks for the crappy Detroit Lions. Not many teams passing too much. So you got the job done, though. And I think with those 14 starts, he really showed out, and he could find himself a hefty payday. But we've got the money. This is a position of need. This is every position on the defense is actually a position of need on the Eagles. I'll be real with you. And I love the guys we have. And I love some of the young depth we have. I'm not saying that I don't like that. But we've got to add a lot of pieces here. And this is one of those. We have to. So, Charles Harris, step on down. Now up next, I'm going to throw this one at you because, well, everybody loves to talk about this name every year. And most of the time it's annoying because past few years, well, he's probably going to cost you a little bit too much, I would feel. But, dude, he's still balling out. And I think, he with the year he had, he's probably still going to want more money than we would want to give him. I don't think he's going to come to the Eagles going into his 9th year. But this guy, man, he started in all 14 games that he played, had 9 sacks, 19 quarterback hits, 11 tackles for a loss. I mean, he still got some left in the tank, 2 forced fumbles. So, hey, man, if you could convince him to come here for cheap, like I said, this is a must-have position for the Eagles, and I feel you got to go in free agency and in the first round in the draft, maybe even a mid-rounder as well, second day, the 2 first round. I don't care. This is a must get for the Philadelphia Eagles. So, yeah, you want to add someone like him? I'm all for it. Up next is a guy I've always been a fan of. I really can't believe it's been 12 years that he's played in the league, 33 years old, but Jerry Hughes still getting it done. Another team that added some pass rush there. And look, I'll be real with you. I still think he's got some left in the tank. And we've got Brandon Graham here. We've got an older guy. But I'm all about adding veteran leadership. So you want to add a guy like Jerry Hughes. I'm all for it. So this last, end of the list here is more of like depth guys rather than like the starting caliber you're going to see. But that's what we need. We need a pass rush. And you remember the year we won the Super Bowl, Chris Long, Michael Bennett. That's what you want. You want to bring in guys like that provide you that, second unit comes in and dominates throughout the entire game. Everyone stays fresh. Love to see it. So I would be all for adding Jerry Hughes. Up next, Melvin Ingram coming into his 11th season. Got traded to Kansas City last year from Pittsburgh. And I think, I loved him in LA. And, well, he actually was San Diego when he played with the Chargers. But regardless, Melvin Ingram, 6'2", 247, 32 years old, man. He started 7 games last year. And look, he had a couple sacks. He didn't do too much in the stat category there. But I think given the chance, once again, being part of this rotation would be, I'm all for adding Melvin Ingram. I think he would fit the hybrid scheme. He could play outside linebacker. He could put his hand in the dirt defensive end. So, hey, I would be all for adding Melvin Ingram. Up next, Akeem Hicks. Now, this dude, he can play inside. He can play outside. This is kind of fit where we're going to want to talk about him tomorrow, maybe today, because this guy, you can use him. He's a wrecking ball all over the place. So if the Eagles want to use more 4-3, have him out there. I think stopping the run, doing things like that, I think you got to use a little bit more of this hybrid scheme, add a little bit more to it, a little bit more formations. I would be very happy to have a guy like Akeem Hicks getting a little older. Maybe you can convince him to sign a cheaper contract. Up next, another veteran player going into his 10th season. Played in 17 games last year. Didn't start a single one, but they've got some talent over there in Kansas City. And I'll be real with you. 1.5 sacks, it makes, oh, he's not that great. 7 quarterback hits, 1 forced fumble. You think maybe not too great, but I'm telling you, you add a guy like him to the pass rush, and in this rotation, I think he would succeed. So I would be all for a veteran minimum contract for someone like Alex Okafor. Up next, maybe I'm a little biased. Maybe I don't care. Steven Means. I loved the dude here on the practice squad, did some things, but since then, he's actually showed that he provides a valuable depth piece to the rotation. And he's done that in Atlanta. I think he played maybe for Tennessee there. But he's 31 now, going into his 10th year. That's wild as hell. But great to see him still sticking around. But maybe you want to take a stab at someone, giving him another shot. But he played in all those games, didn't have a single sack, didn't do very much. But you could get him for a minimum. Add him, let him compete with some people, see if maybe he adds a veteran presence during the camp, whatever. But, yep, that's it. That's the 10 names I had for you from the free agent list. So let me know how you're feeling about that. Is there anyone that sticks out to you? Is there a couple guys that stick out to you? Let me know who you want. You know that I want to go in the draft too, but we're focused on free agency right now. And don't worry, in a week we'll be doing the draft. So just getting through this because we're leading up to free agency, man. The legal tampering period begins on the 14th. And then at 4 o'clock on the 16th, it technically begins. So it's going to be wildfire throughout those days. But every day leading up to that, we're going to have a show. So stay tuned. But here it is. Let me show you the list of all of the available edge rushers. First, we're going to show you the defensive ends as listed. Now, this is as listed by Spot Track. And there are definitely some questionable names and some questionable team, all that stuff. So I could see one right there. Tack McKinley. He played for Cleveland last year. So you've got a bunch of names there, though. JPP, Dante Fowler, Calais Campbell getting up there in age, but still dominating. Mario Addison, another name from Buffalo. Jihad Ward from Jacksonville would be intriguing. William Golston, kind of overshadowed by the names there in Tampa Bay. Solomon Thomas, Las Vegas. So Justin Houston, he's still sticking around here, but you've got some names there you could definitely add. The list I made was just some names that stuck out to me. I'm sure I probably missed some guys I would like to add as I see through this, whatever. But yeah, let me know how you're feeling about these guys. You see Brent Urban, Arden Key, Charles Harris again. You've got a bunch of dudes available. Everson Griffin still sticking around there. I think that this is pivotal to add one of those guys I mentioned, or one of these dudes on this list, because my God, do we need it desperately. But here's some more, and this is the last of the defensive ends. See Kerrigan on there, Barnett I just threw in because he will be a free agent. Don't worry. But yeah, you see the list there. Let me know how you feel about it. But now we're moving on to outside linebackers. The same thing, essentially, edge rushing, but we talk about the differences in this hybrid scheme. So let's keep it moving. You got guys like Von Miller. AJ Klein really isn't an outside. He's an outside linebacker, but he's not an edge rusher. Whatever. Malcolm Smith, the same. There's some names that bother me here, but yeah, I'm just going to let Spot Track do their thing. These are edge rushers. So Nicholas Morrow, I wouldn't mind having as an actual linebacker, but regardless, Hassan Reddick, there's my guy. Really, really feel that would be the best move there. Pernell McPhee, another veteran guy. Randy Gregory, obviously, we don't enjoy obviously all the time taking Cowboys players because they don't pan out, but it is what it is. You want to pass rush, do what you got to do. I don't like the dude, but it is, yeah, I mean, you want to add him, whatever, that's fine. Now on to the restricted list, ladies and gentlemen. These are defensive ends and outside linebackers. Malik Reed wouldn't be against, but I think Denver may try to retain him, and they're building something there. They got Russell Wilson, so we'll see what they do. But that was your list of the free agent edge rushers this off season, and it's going to begin here in a week, and I truly can't wait. And we're going through this every night. Now, before we head out, let's go through a couple trade candidates because we do this with every position. Just some names I saw, one of the names, because we talk about, Seattle getting rid of Russell Wilson to Denver there. Maybe they're cleaning house. Maybe they want to give up a guy like Carlos Dunlap, but maybe I don't want to pay $6.5 million for a guy, that's coming into his 13th year at 33 years old. So maybe you can get him to restructure, but That's a dude that can still wreak havoc. 8.5 sacks in 2 starts, played in 17 games, but this dude still got it. He did great for Cincinnati in those, I think, 10, 11 years he played there. So Carlos Dunlap, if you could restructure and get him for a late day pick while they're cleaning house, getting rid of everyone, sure. And I can't wait to talk about Bobby Wagner when we get to the linebackers, because there was a dire need there. So we need to draft a linebacker in the first round, and you need to have a veteran here that can teach him. Yeah, I don't think we have a linebacker like that right now. So that'd be great. And regardless, let's stick with the edge rushers here. Would love to have Carlos Dunlap if you get that thing restructured. Up next, a couple guys that have fallen out, really not doing anything, but maybe a career resurrection in a new home would do them well. Cleland Farrell, obviously, they missed the buckle on that pick, but hey, we know all about that. But he's got 2 years remaining on his rookie contract, but he's got a massive cap hit. The Raiders are just a terrible organization. They don't know what they're doing. And that's one that you would definitely have to try to restructure. Like, look, young man, that's atrocious of a contract. You are not worth that. You played in 16 games, didn't start a single one. But look, they've got Crosby and Ngakwe. They get it. You need a pass rush. So got to do that. Maybe a kid like that, you bring him in for a late day pick. We shall see. And now, last but not least, the year before, everybody's freaking out, losing their mind. And then all of a sudden, the dude's getting benched in important games, not even starting a single game. Wild as hell. Played in the league 3 years now. He's got 1 year left on that rookie contract, a $1.214 million hit on the cap. I think that would make sense. A late day pick. Now, the stats ain't jumping out at you because he had 1 quarterback hit, 11 tackles. Oh, that sucks. So, yeah, I don't know what's going on there, but some dudes just sometimes don't pan out. But you never know. Team's willing to move on. Maybe we get a late day pick for a young man like Chase Vinovich. So, I don't know. You tell me. How are you feeling about it? How do you feel about the Eagles' edge rush position? Because I'm scared as hell if, we go into another year like that. But we talked about it last year. It was like, we're going to have to get through it. It's going to be rough. But this is the year. Let's go draft ourselves an edge rusher. Let's bring one of these guys in. Let's start building something special here. All right, guys. I thank you for taking the time tonight. I am going to hit the road. I am Beat Street McGee here. But if you're watching this now, you're watching this later, let me know how you're feeling about this. Who do you like from this list? Let me know how you're feeling. Free agency's about here, guys. So stay tuned. We'll be back tomorrow. We'll be talking about interior defensive linemen, and then, of course, linebackers, and then corners after that, and safeties. And it's here. Free agency. Oh, yes. I cannot wait. So hope you're all having yourselves a great night. I appreciate you taking the time. You need anyone to talk to, you want to talk about football, you want to talk about life, always here for you guys, as you are for me. I truly appreciate you guys. Hope you're staying safe out there. Love you all. Have a great night. And as always, go Birds!